Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got a big show planned this morning, including our weekend Sunrise Roadshow. What is it? Well, you could be sitting on a cash cow.
Yeah, send us your family heirlooms or mystery items on the text line, and we're going to have them valued live in the studio a little later on this morning.
But we want to get first to the devastation in Nepal. Time is running out to find survivors after the glacier collapse and flood that has claimed at least 579 lives. Almost 2,000 people are still missing in wiped out villages, including 41 Australians.
The scale of the disaster cannot be overstated, and now it is feared a secondary flood could follow, with another lake threatening to burst its banks.
For the very latest, let's go to Cassidy Moscone, who is in Kathmandu. Now, Cassidy, families are anxiously waiting for news about their loved ones.
As each day passes here in Nepal, the death toll and the number of those missing continues to rise. And many of those survivors and the bodies of those who didn't make it are taken here to Kathmandu. It's more than 100 kilometres away from the mountains of Ground Zero, but the energy here is just as grief-stricken. We've seen desperate families scouring the lists of patients who made it. Then there's the walls of the ones who didn't. It's confronting. Pictures of those who've lost their lives line the morgue outside. Crowds form, hoping they don't recognise a face. Crews are doing everything they can to access the impact zones. Up near the Nepal-China border, the area incredibly popular with mountaineers and tourist groups. There's entire village and market communities there that have been wiped out. Many of the roads and major infrastructure simply cut off. That's the real challenge heading into this rescue mission. That and the mud that's been left behind by the torrent of water, now as hard as concrete. We'll continue to bring you updates from here on the ground in Nepal.
All right, Cassidy Moscone for us there in Kathmandu. Thank you. Here's David.
Thanks, Mon. Well, across the country, Australians are planning to attend candlelit vigils to mourn those who've lost their lives and pray for those still missing. Let's go live to Nick Overall in Sydney this morning. Good morning to you, Nick. So many Aussies, they have been affected by this tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely, David. The heartbreak is certainly being felt here in Australia. Last night, we saw candlelight vigils across the country, including here in Strathfield, as well as in Canberra, where another vigil was held. There are more planned for this weekend as well. Now, it's hard to comprehend the fear and the anxiety many of the people from the Nepalese community must be feeling, with friends and family still over there they haven't heard from. I've been staying in contact with a young man here in Sydney named Shitrak Sharma. He's just 23. He's alone here with his brother, and he still hasn't heard from his parents because of the sheer amount of damage. They haven't actually been able to get any communication through to Nepal. They're still holding out hope, though. Certainly we did see some good news last night. 26-year-old Cara Severino from here in New South Wales found alive. She has made contact with her family. Let's hope more of those 41 Australians still missing can be found soon, guys.
Yeah, we desperately hope so. All right, Nick, thank you.
All right, let's get some more news now. Here's Hugh.
Good morning. In breaking news, a P-plater has slammed into the back of a parked truck in a suspected high-speed crash in Western Sydney. It happened at Elizabeth Hills shortly after 2 a.m. The Toyota Yaris ended up wedged beneath the truck, and a 14-year-old male passenger suffered serious injuries, including a possible skull fracture. A wanted man has been taken into custody at the end of an hours-long siege north of Brisbane. Tactical officers swarmed a home at Narangba using speakerphones to negotiate with him. Members of the public were warned to stay away. He surrendered shortly before 9 last night and was led away in handcuffs. It's unclear what prompted the incident. 2 men have been arrested at the end of a heart-pounding chase on Queensland's Sunshine Coast. Live to Liam Bland in Brisbane. Liam, shots were fired at a police helicopter during the chase.
Hugh, the pair's attempted getaway was certainly a dangerous one. Pole Air crews came under threat as they were tracking a stolen sedan across the Sunshine Coast on Thursday. Those officers say a man inside that stolen sedan wound down a window and opened fire at their police chopper as it was circling above Noosa. That same sedan also spotted speeding past traffic along the wrong side of the road and at a roundabout. Now, it all came to an end with a foot chase. One officer officer with his service weapon drawn, arresting a first suspect near a Nambour BP, a second man taken into custody a short time later at Noosa Heads. Police say they seized 12 stolen firearms and also uncovered a large stash of ammunition. The men are facing 45 charges between them, and Hugh, both have been refused bail.
OK, Liam, thank you. Thousands of passengers were caught up in delays when all flights bound for Melbourne were temporarily grounded last night. Air Services Australia issued the ground stop due to air traffic congestion and some bad weather. Flight radar showed multiple planes circling Tullamarine Airport waiting for clearance. The order was lifted after about 20 minutes. The age-old debate over whether the MCG should have a roof has been reignited. Live to Christy Mayer in Melbourne with the details. Christy, Tassie's new stadium is going to be weatherproof, so should the MCG be?
Good morning, Hugh. Well, it is the venue for some of our biggest sporting events and live shows. So many people do feel that the MCG should be fully multi-purpose. And of course, one of the biggest arguments in favour of putting a roof on the G is our weather. Melbourne is known for enjoying all 4 seasons in one day. And when you are sitting in the MCG and it's cold and rainy, it can be pretty miserable, whereas a roof would offer year-round comfort. And that's exactly why Tassie is putting a roof on its brand new Macquarie Stadium. The technology has come a long way too. It wouldn't involve, heavy metal and glass these days to build a roof here. It would involve ultra high-tech lightweight plastic, and that technology is already being used on world-class stadiums elsewhere. But the MCC is saying it's ruling out the idea for now. The MCG will be undergoing a redevelopment, but it won't include a roof at this stage. The MCC says it would be very challenging to work it around our iconic lights, and it would cost around $6 billion. Hugh?
OK, that's expensive and it would be very big. Christy, thank you. Labor could lose its first ever seat to One Nation in a by-election in Perth's southern suburbs today. Betting markets have Labor in front, but insiders are tipping One Nation candidate Luke Hertigan to topple Labor's Georgia Tree in the seat of Secret Harbour. The result's likely to have ramifications for both major parties. Overseas, and the Lindsay Clancy murder trial is in its final stages with a verdict expected to be reached soon. Live to Rob Scott in the US. Rob, this case has captivated people all over the world.
It has, Hugh, captivated them and divided them in a way that most cases just don't. On one hand, we've got Lindsay Clancy's supporters and her defence team saying that she was a good mother who was in the grips of a rare mental illness at the time that she murdered her 3 little kids. On the other hand, you've got prosecutors arguing that she carefully planned their deaths in their Massachusetts home back in 2023. Now, Clancy has actually admitted to the strangulation of her 3 kids aged just 5 years, 3 years and 8 months before attempting to kill herself. But her team argues that she was in the throes of what's known as postpartum psychosis, and she was hearing voices at the time. Now, this trial has lasted about 5 weeks. It's come to a close and has been handed over to the jury for their deliberations. They've just finished their first full day of those deliberations. They've been sent home for the weekend. They must decide whether Clancy is guilty of either first-degree murder, second-degree murder or manslaughter, or they could find her not criminally responsible due to her mental health at the time. So a case that has really, as you said, captivated the world and is coming to an end shortly, we believe.
OK, I'll keep an eye on that. Rob Scott, thank you.